I promised some quarterback talk. I know we like to talk about all the positions here, but we know the sexiest position on the field remains quarterback.
Wide receiver.
Yeah, quarterback. Of course, that position was not so sexy once Casey went down last year. So hopefully the backups, a big kind of discussion here. And Heinrich Haarberg's really gathered some momentum, maybe as that guy that is kind of making a push in camp. So let's hear from Marcus Satterfield about Heinrich Haarberg first, as we dive into the quarterback discussion.
Big, physical, athletic. He's not just a runner; he can throw the football as well. So he allows you to be multiple in a lot of things that we're doing offensively. Really pleased with his development thus far through 12 practices.
So they really like him. They sound like he's more of kind of a run first type of threat for them.
It's kind of what it seems like. It's almost as if that when they bring him in, it's going to be a run package. Like it's going to be a quarterback run. It's going to be an option, or it's going to be, if you saw the video a couple weeks ago where it was a quarterback pitch and then he was running in front of the running back and threw a block. It seems like something that he's going to do. Just using his big body, his big frame to be very physical with the defense.
Yeah.
Whether that's throwing blocks or running through tackles or what have you.
It's just kind of weird because you kind of hear him say, like, and he could throw too. I was like, well, he's a quarterback.
Yeah, he's got an arm, I guess.
But interesting. I know a lot of people too over the years have wanted a true quarterback, not an athlete playing quarterback, or a running back playing quarterback. They've used to describe quarterbacks in the past at Nebraska. Obviously, there are different skill sets among the quarterback room, but Haarberg is certainly a very good athlete and brings something different there to the ground game. Here's Satterfield describing Haarberg as a runner.
Big, physical. Eric Crouch was at practice today. He's a little bit bigger than Eric was, but he's not scared to get downhill. He runs like a running back. He's a big kid that has his superpower is running the football and being physical.
Again, he thinks he's got a superpower.
That is an interesting take.
It's a big statement there.
His superpower is running the football.
Yes, a superpower, huh? And
so I can almost guarantee you will see Heinrich Haarberg get in games and just run the ball. Quarterback sneaks or like short yardage.
Oh yeah, he should be on.
It'll be Haarberg.
Yeah.
But then again, Jeff Sims is also
pretty big.
He's pretty big. He's pretty. I think he's pretty physical.
Yeah.
Very, very fast. Like I don't know.
We'll see. It's kind of funny how we had a 16-second quote. He compared him quickly to Eric Crouch, and we got stuck up on the superpower thing.
We're not going to talk about that. I'm not going to do that. We're not doing that. No,
he said
not
That's
doing
the
that.
offensive coordinator.
Eric Crouch was at practice today. He's a little bit bigger than Eric was.
There you go.
Don't do that. Don't do it.
I didn't do anything. He brought Eric Crouch
I know.
up
No,
out of
I know.
nowhere.
I'm talking to Satterfield. Don't do it.
Okay, yeah.
Don't do. We've heard this before. We've heard comparisons to Husker greats before. Don't do it.
That's right.
Just don't. Just avoid that like
didn't
the
work
plague.
well, yeah.
Avoid comparing current Huskers to former Huskers like the plague.
There's a Heisman guy over there, and he's bigger than him. So
this guy won a Heisman. This guy's bigger than him.
So
they're both from the state of Nebraska.
His superpower over here.
He's got a superpower. This guy won a Heisman, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
Apples to oranges?
Interesting.
Grapes to potatoes? I don't know, man.
So there we go. As you heard, Heinrich Haarberg might win a Heisman eventually. No, but here's Satterfield was asked if Heinrich is indeed pushing Jeff Sims.
He is. I think there's a healthy competition there. I think that, they both have their good days, but I think they're, the iron sharpens iron, and all the quarterbacks in the room are really pushing each other.
Hey, that's what you said about the running back room, Satterfield.
How do I put this in a nice way? No.
You don't think so?
I don't think that now pushing and competing for a starting job are two totally different things.
They are.
Pushing him to maybe run better, but I think Sims is already a very good runner, as you've seen in his Georgia Tech film. I feel probably fairly comparable throwers. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the offensive coordinator saying that a redshirt sophomore who's never played a single down of collegiate football is pushing a guy who started for 3 years at another Power 5 institution.
Well, again, I always go back when I think of this is when Taylor Martinez won the race against Cody Green and Zach Lee. It was hardly expected. I mean, he's a redshirt freshman athlete. You heard the kind of same things. There's like, yeah, sure, we'll see. Yeah, they're just giving it lip service. But really, Cody Green or Zach Lee are going to win this thing. And then they run Taylor out there, and he was one of the best quarterbacks Nebraska's had in a while.
Yeah, well, so. I'm not trying to talk down his talent. He's obviously a very talented quarterback if he's at Nebraska, if he's at a Division I program. Was a very good quarterback at Kearney Catholic during his high school days. But when you're saying that he's pushing him, I don't know. I just don't know how to read into that, just because, maybe it's because Casey Thompson isn't practicing, and that's why, maybe you've got Heinrich Harburg running with the 2s or the 3s. I don't even know who the number 2. Those are really the only 2 quarterbacks that we're hearing about during practices, because Casey's hurt. So all you hear about is Jeff Sims this, Jeff Sims that, because he's the presumed starter.
Yeah.
They brought him in. He's their handpicked guy. And then Heinrich Harburg, which is just the strangest thing. And again, not to take away from the kid's talent, but you have, Chubba Purdy in there, who was a fairly successful he was a very talented quarterback. He went to Florida State straight out of high school, transferred to Nebraska. Although people thought that he was kind of iffy when he first started, that game that he got hurt, the game that he started and ended up getting hurt, he was playing fairly well to start the game, then ended up getting hurt. Logan Smothers, I think, is still coming back from the injury, so you're not hearing anything about him, but I don't know. And then he was asked a question about Richard Torres and was just confused because they called him Richie, and he's like, "Oh, you mean Richard?" So it's just, I don't know how to take Harburg pushing Sims in the quarterback room. Well, fairly healthy competition, he said.
Yeah. Well, and we'll see. I mean, obviously, I do think that you would expect it to take some time going from Class C high school Nebraska football and into getting ready for Big Ten play. So I can understand the wait there, but it has been a few years now, and as he's been developing again, new set of eyes, maybe see something special in him. So I mean, his size and his athleticism certainly stand out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some place for him, and so we'll kind of just see how it goes, and we'll see in the spring how real of a competitor he is. I do expect him, and I heard Steve Sibble say this on early break too, expect him to be the starting quarterback for the white team, the number 2 offense,
mm-hmm.
and we'll see what they can get done. I mean, it'll be interesting. The quarterback race, I'm like you. I mean, I think it would be hard to look away from the experience of Jeff Sims, of Casey Thompson. So I think a lot of people think, well, those are the true guys vying for that job. But we'll see. And I think either way, it is good to see him develop, not to take away from Logan Smothers and Chubba Purdy. But again, they need depth at the quarterback position, as we saw yesterday. And either that can be a new guy like Heinrich Harburg jumping into the mix, or those guys, Smothers, obviously, like you mentioned, is hurting right now, or Chubba getting better. But one way or the other, you like to see the depth getting better there. Here's that question you were talking about, was asked about Richard Torres.
Richie, you caught me off guard with the Richie right there. Just to go and play in front of people. A lot of these guys haven't played in front of crowds like they're going to get to play in front and respond to that. Is your snap count going to be loud enough? Just are you going to be able to handle the moment? So it's going to be good to get those guys in competitive situations in an environment like we're going to have. Is going to be a real game day here on Saturday. I think it's going to be great for all positions, but especially that quarterback position and Richie that's not really gotten to experience that yet.
So that's going to be the case for a lot of Huskers jumping on the field for the spring game. Let's jump back to kind of the start. Some of those other guys in that quarterback room. Here's how Marcus Satterfield, when it was asked to characterize Jeff Sims.
It's been good. I mean, he's played a lot of football, been in a lot of different offenses. So, I mean, once the verbiage may be a little different, but once he kind of correlates it with, okay, yeah, I've ran that before, that's this, then, he's usually pretty good. He's got a nice calming demeanor out there, never too high, never too low. And just, he's done a really nice job. We went into this spring wanting to take care of the football and, increase his completion percentage. And he's done both of those to this point.
Well, that's what I like to hear, developing from his days at Georgia Tech. Of course, the other guy that we expect to compete there, Casey Thompson, has been sidelined for, of course, this spring. But here are there a few questions, a few updates here on Casey. Here he was asked, Marcus Satterfield, the offensive coordinator, was asked, "What have you seen off the field, on the practice field from Casey?"
Mentally, he's really good. He works out, it grinds grinds out in here every night. You know, he's got teammates with him, teaching them the offense. In scrimmages, he's got the headset on. He's hearing every call. He's going through every. You know, you can see him in the background going through the plays and going through. You know what his role would be in that play, going through progressions and things. And I think that he just, you know, what he can't do physically, he's definitely not skipped, or he's not far behind mentally. He's not behind at all mentally. I mean, he's exactly where he needs to be. So he's done a really nice job of staying engaged throughout this whole process. We can't throw the ball, you know, in practice right now, and done a really nice job.
I don't think that's surprising at all. I think we all knew that he was going to be all in mentally on the mental preparation side of things. I mean, you heard him those first couple of games when we spoke, when the media was speaking to him, and really all season, how well he would break down the opponent's defense, and how he knew where people were going to be, and just explaining everything to everybody. The guy is a sponge when it comes to mental preparation on the football field. Hopefully he's able to get healthy soon, and we can have ourselves a true quarterback competition, because right now it's just hard to judge it. Although he's there mentally, like Satterfield said, physically you still don't know, just because he's been injured, he's been on the sideline. So Sims has been able to show off all his talent and everything that he can do, while Casey's just been, you know, on the mental side of things.
Yeah, and he was also asked where Casey is physically. Obviously, that's a big part of this. Like you said, Casey is, if you've ever met him, is just incredible. You know, wants to be in to do football 24/7, and it just basically does. But has been held back because of the physicality here. Here is where is Casey physically?
I mean, I refuse to answer any medical questions. That goes to coach. But you know, he's throwing now, and he's got a certain amount of reps he can throw, and you know he's doing everything he possibly can, and he's right on schedule for where he's supposed to be.
So there you have kind of the update on Casey Thompson. Satterfield also asked how the quarterbacks handled being live in practice. Of course, that was the case this past Saturday. Will be the case for the spring game as well. We all can say, give a nice celebratory sound of whatever you want to do. Clap. I don't know what you want to do there, but obviously much different than last year's spring ball. Here is how they handled the physicality this past practice.
It's been great. I think, you know, it's hard to not be live and play quarterback just because the time and urgency in the pocket. Sometimes you get seduced by that green jersey. So when you go live, I think the timing starts to speed up. The natural timing starts to speed up. So I think it's been really good for him. You know, if you play football, you should be fine. If you go out there and you play passive, that's when you start to get banged up and get hurt. But if you just play football like you did when you were a little kid in the backyard, you usually can come out pretty healthy.
Yes. Backyard football rules. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's do it. It's going to be, I don't know if we've ever had a spring game where the quarterbacks were live. Everybody else was live in a couple of them up until the last few years, so you'd see the tackling and the hitting. I don't know about the quarterbacks being live in a spring game, so this is going to be really fun to watch because you're going to get, you know, when those quarterbacks do take off and run, in every other spring game, somebody touches them on the shoulder, the run's over. In this one, I mean, we're really going to be able to see what Sims and what Harburg have to offer while running the ball.